The Cosmic Briefing, hosted by award-winning author Dr. Allison Brown, opens the door to disclosure, consciousness, galactic history, and humanity's awakening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Briefing. I'm so glad you're here. Today I want to talk about consciousness. I talk about consciousness a lot because it's very important to where we are headed. And this time I want to give you a metaphor that you've probably heard in some form or fashion, but I want to share with you some words that Mark Nepo spoke in an interview. He is a prolific writer and poet, spiritual teacher. I had the good fortune of meeting him and sitting in on one of his talks down in Charleston when he came a few years ago. And he's just a beautiful human being. And I happened upon an interview that he had done with someone, and he was talking about his own journey with cancer. Now, navigating physical illness can be very challenging for everybody, of course, and particularly challenging for people who practice spirituality. Sometimes we can get bogged down in why me, or how did I manifest this? What did I do wrong? Was I not thinking enough positive thoughts? And really, it's so much deeper than that. It isn't about that, because we're human beings, and as human beings, we are going to encounter some challenges, whether it's a physical challenge or any other kind of challenge. I mean, that's part of the human experience, right? So he was sharing about the struggle that he went through when he was diagnosed and the pain that he was going through. And so he was reminding the audience that we, as consciousness beings, as part of the divine, of the all, are very similar to the ocean, in that if the ocean is the all, we are, each human being is a drop in that ocean. But within that drop is the entire ocean, right? Think about that. So as a droplet of water comes up from the ocean, it contains the entirety of the ocean. So there's that metaphor. But also, the deeper layers of the ocean are calm. No matter if storms come or wind, whatever disturbances are on the surface of the ocean, the underlying depth of the ocean, the all that is you, stays calm. Each wave, you may have heard this metaphor, but each wave is an individuality. Each wave is an individual instance of the ocean. And so he was reminding himself of that as he went through his cancer treatment, because he said when he was diagnosed, they gave him some medication for pain, but also for anxiety. And he thought that was curious. And he said, I'm not anxious. I understand. He's a very deeply spiritual human being, and he understands that we get ill and that he's safe and okay and everything will turn out all right, whether he is healed or whether he is not healed, because we know that in transition, in our death, it's still okay. All is fine. All is well. And so at first, he didn't want to take the anxiety medicine because he was thinking, well, in my depth, in my core, I know that I'm fine. I'm okay. Everything is going to be okay. But what he recognized was, as human beings, we are not just the depth of the ocean. We are also the waves and the turbulence on the top. That is the piece of the ocean that interacts with this 3D construct that we live within. That is the piece of the ocean that deals with the everyday struggles of life and challenges and traffic and people and all of those sorts of things. And so while, yes, we can hold the calm and the peace and the knowing in the depth of our soul or our being, we also have to acknowledge and work within the outer piece, the turbulent piece, the piece that is going to get a little bit beaten or thrown around by the wind and the turbulence. All of that is the human experience. And so he said, you know what? Yes, I do need that. I need that anxiety medication because I am a little bit nervous on the outside. I am dealing with the normal thoughts of what if, or what's going to happen if I pass, or, the pain that I'm struggling with. And you are nervous. When you hear the big C word, it makes everyone nervous because of the history that we have with that particular disease. It's so pervasive, and so many people that we know and love have had an intersection with cancer. And so the minute that you hear that, your mind starts to recall all of that history. And it can make you nervous. It can make you scared. It can make you panicked. And so in order to activate the healing that we all have within, we have to kind of quell the nervousness and the tension and the anxiety. One of the ways that we do that is through, other methods like Reiki or yoga, meditation, things like that, in general on a day-to-day basis, because that can help us to stay in that calm and peaceful state as we go through our day. But when you're dealing with a disease or an illness or some other catastrophe, all bets are off. Like, you can't sit and meditate when you've been diagnosed with cancer. Maybe somebody can, but it's difficult. I remember I had a bout with melanoma, and I had that same feeling that Mark had at first, which was, it's fine, I'm going to be fine, this is no big deal, it's skin cancer, right? Well, when I went down to the cancer center in Charleston and I saw all of the other human beings who were afflicted with cancer and how serious it was, I started to panic. I literally started to panic, and then they needed to do surgery to get a little deeper. They got it all out, and I was fine, thank goodness, but I understand that panic and that anxiety, because it's hard to turn the human construct off and completely immerse yourself in the divine when you're in the midst of a crisis. It's difficult. And so this is what Mark was sharing, is that we can recognize that we are both. It isn't either or. It isn't that on the spiritual path we should only ever be calm and peaceful and remain in that sense of the all. Impossible as a human being, for the most part. And so I wanted to share that with you, because if you are struggling or you are getting battered around by the challenges that are coming up in your life, it's okay. It's okay that some days we're not handling it very well. Some days we get angry and we yell, and some days we don't have any patience, or we break down in tears, or we're stricken with grief. It is part of the human experience, and it's fine. We are all of that. And so if you need something like he did, like he said, he needed some medication to allow that anxiety to come down a notch so that he could tap into the peace that was within, because that's the part that's going to help you to heal. So if you are stressed and struggling, do seek help for that, because if we can't activate the calm within, then we can't activate the natural healing ability that we have. Each human has this ability, but we have to be able to access it, right? And so, it's okay. So I wanted to share that with you. If you have any specific examples of that sort of thing and how you coped or what you did to get through that, please share with the audience down in the comments below. Until next time.